Greeting Mech Warriors. This is part one of two parts for a walkthrough of the Battletech roster builder. When you download the roster builder, it will come in a zip file. You open the zip file, you will have this folder, and you open it up, and this folder will have the application and three other folders inside of it. You can drop this wherever you want. You can drop it in documents. You can drop it in your program files. You can drop it on your desktop. Just once you drop it there, leave it so it knows where it is. Then you can take the application, make a shortcut for it, leave that on your desktop so you always have it. So let's go ahead, and this is a first time run, so this is what you will have when you run this application. So the first little window here says congratulations for upgrading to the current version of MechWarrior Roster Builder. This version includes the ability to utilize cloud storage. So if you have Box, Dropbox, Google Drive, whatever cloud storage that appears as a folder in your computer's file structure, that's what I mean by cloud storage. And the reason why you want to do this is if you're like me and you have a laptop that you carry around, say to game sites, game stores, whatever, and you have your home PC, what you do is you do stuff on your home PC, and your profiles, all your data is saved not only on this file but into the cloud storage. And when you run your laptop somewhere else, you have instant access to all that information. You don't have to worry about synchronizing between different machines. So the question here is select OK to move and detect your files in the cloud, or cancel to keep your files where they are now. We're going to go ahead and we're going to select OK. So now it will go ahead and give you this box. You can maneuver to whatever cloud storage you want to use. In this case, I'm using my Dropbox account. If you look right here, you'll see it. You don't have to select it, and if it's there because I've already installed it and set it up on another machine, it will this installation will find that directory. If not, it will detect it, or it'll create it anyhow. So all we need to do is hit select folder, and then this one you can ignore. It talks about copying files from your old directory to your new directory, and you don't have anything in your old directory because you just installed this version of Roster Builder. So we're going to go ahead and hit cancel. At this point, it will create a window for a new profile. You can have an unlimited number of profiles, but only one profile can be active at any given time. So it's going to ask for the profile name. I highly recommend you use your first name. My mark is already in there, so we're going to go with Kenny. And then everything else on here is just preset defaults for when you actually get to building rosters. It just makes that process a little easier. So default roster size, whatever roster size you normally run, and again you can change it when you actually build a roster. I've been playing a lot of 4,000 point games recently. The next one here is roster variants. since we all play Battletech, we all know that when you build a roster, you can either be 500 points under or 5 points over. So roster variants, and please do not use this unless your opponent is aware and agrees to it. Just, do the right thing. Um, if you set your roster variance for 1%, which is all I recommend, this means that Roster Builder will accept a roster that is up to 4,040 points, because 40 is 1% of 4,000. You also have a default year of battle, so if you do pre-clan, you might want to set this to 3050. I like having all my units all the time, so I just set it to 99.99. And the last here is the default rules level. I stick with advanced. So I'm going to go ahead and hit accept. And it says my profile has been created and ready to go. Hit OK to start creating your organizations. Now, an organization is just another name for a battalion-sized group. And as you can see, you could have up to 10 organizations per profile. And again, you can have many different profiles. Whenever you see this block with an X in it, that's actually a delete button, but there's nothing to delete. So let's go ahead and create one here. I'm going to put in Damage Incorporated. And hit enter to update the org. And it says I don't see an organizational structure set yet. Let's take care of that now. So we hit OK again, and here is the 6 different kinds of organizational structures I have set up. The only thing, unless you're doing the full TO&E, or Table of Organization and Equipment, you don't need to really worry about this. Mostly what this does is this sets a maximum number of units per organization. So if you mouse over one of the buttons, it tells you for a standard Intersphere battalion, a lance is 4 units, a company is 3 lances, a battalion is 3 companies. If you want to go with an Intersphere square battalion with a command lance, you have a lance is either 4 units or an air lance, which is 4 units plus 2 aerospace. A company is 2 regular lances and an air lance. And then a battalion is 4 companies plus a command lance. That's actually, I think, the biggest one. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to pick that one. And for the second one here, we'll say Group W. And we're going to hit enter again. And it says he doesn't have an organizational structure, and we're going to go ahead and just select a standard battalion. So now we have 2 of our 10 organizations set up. So you can put in as many as you want, up to 10. And we're going to close this, and then we're going to go back to the profile menu here. Profile, we have new profile. You've already seen that. Open profile means to switch between profiles. Edit profile, you can edit everything but the profile name. And then, of course, delete profile. Set data location, if you want to change where your profiles are being stored, this is where you do it. So, next point here is we're going to go back to the Organizations and Units menu. We've already done the organizations thing. We're going to go ahead and we're going to enter a non-cannon unit. And if you don't know what the term cannon means, notice it has one end. This is not the kind of cannon that goes boom. Cannon means that if it's been published and approved by FASA, CGL, whoever has owned the rights to Battletech at any given time. This is where you would put the mechs that you create, and we're just going to put in something like the War Hamster. And this is the really big war hamster. As you notice, I have a short unit name that's only 15 characters. The full name can be up to 30 characters, and then the unit model is only 8. So we're going to say WHH3A. We're going to say tons of 100. The battle value 1, 2, 3, 4. And by the way, this does absolutely no error checking. So if you put this in, it's going to accept every number that you give it because it knows nothing about it. There's no status sheet for you to give it and have it figure out the calculations. So it's going on your honor that it's really 1,234 points. We're going to make this a 696, and if we really wanted, we can throw in a boost. We have mask, we have TSM, we have a supercharger, and we have a supercharger plus mask, but we're not. 6.9 is pretty good for an assault mech. And then, very importantly, year introduced, we're going to say 3049. So it's just barely pre-clan. We have our rules level. We have our tech base, which is inner sphere, mixed, or clan. And then we have our unit type. And yes, I know it goes all the way down. It goes down a lot farther. It's got every type of ground unit and aerospace. So we also have a unit role, okay, which is what these are. And the interesting thing is if you pick an aerospace unit, you can then click the unit role and you'll notice that they're all different from before. So we're going to take this back to a battle mech. And we also have C3 here. Master, double master, slave, C3I, boosted master, double boosted master, boosted slave. So if you got C3, that's where you put it. So now we're going to save this part and we're going to enter weapons. And here's where you put the quantity and type. If you have 3 PPCs in it, well, we'll say 2 PPCs. So 2, and then ER PPC, and we'll say 3 medium laser and 1 targeting computer. I have tried to stick to groups, so I go from highest to lowest damage for each weapon group, and I try to put ballistic weapons first, followed by energy weapons, followed by missiles, and then support equipment such as AMS or TARCOMPS, ECM, that kind of thing. And you can have up to 9 of these. And of course, please put your weapon number in there in each appropriate field. So now we're going to save this unit. And it says unit successfully saved. Do you want to enter more? No, not right now. So now that we've entered in our non-canon units, there's already a database for most, if not all, of the appropriate canon units. We're going to assign units to organizations. So we click on this, and here is Damage Incorporated because of its battalion structure. It can have actually up to 60 units. So we have 60 empties here. And if we click over to Group W, it's a standard battalion. It only has 36 spots, so there's only 36 of these. So next step here is to enter a partial name to search for whatever unit we're looking for, and we're going to say WARHA. And this should find both Warhammers and the War Hamster. So I click, and this is by tonnage. Oh, no, it's not. It's by name. But it will always put any custom units that meet the criteria here first. So the War Hamster's here. And you notice that whenever you do a mouse over, you get a little box like this one here. This Warhammer is a 70-ton, 1,653-point brawler battle mech with an Intersphere tech base that moves 460 and has a weapon loadout of 2 ER medium lasers, 2 ER PPCs, and 1 Streak SRM-6. So in order to move it from this pool of selected units over into this battalion, all I got to do is click it. And if I want to have multiple Warhammer 9Ds, I can put those in there too. And we'll go ahead and we'll put a Masakari E in there, and maybe even the War Hamster. And then we can slip over to Group W, and if we want to put Warhammer in this one, we can do so. If not, we would find more units and restart the process. But we've gotten what we came here for, so we're just going to go ahead and close this window. For most people, this is as far as you need to go with this part. Part 2 is going to be on how to actually build a roster. If you're one of the mech warriors that likes doing the full battle paperwork kind of thing, we can go to Assign Units to TONE, which is the Table of Organization and Equipment. And here is the units that we put in. And here is our organizations, and we can click back and forth and you'll see the different structures because they're different organizations. If you notice down here, it says like aerospace only. Don't believe it. You can put any unit you have over here in any unit or in any spot over here. Now, just in case you forget, here is the different ways you can get stuff from here to here and here to here. And all you got to do is click on that, and there is all of the ways to do things. The first way is to click on a unit over here. It turns green, and then click on it where you want it to go over here, and it magically appears. If you just click on one of these empty spots, it will automatically take the unit that's at the top of the stack and put it there. If I want to unassign a unit, I just click on it over here and it goes back to the pool. And if I click on a unit here and then click on an already assigned unit, it will unassign the unit that's already there and put that selected unit over here. So that's that. You don't have to do this, but I thought I would. Some people asked me about it. So the last thing here is we're going to print an organizational report, and this brings up a small window with all of your uh, active organizations. And all you got to do is click on that, and it will generate a file and send it off to your default printer. And it gives you basically exactly what you saw there on the TONE. It tells you who's where in the table of organization and equipment, and then it tells you percentages of light, medium, heavy, assault, things like that. So that's going to be it for part one. Stay tuned for part two because that's where we actually build rosters. All right. Be right back, Mech Warriors.